Hey everybody, welcome to our pop-up for the Craft Cafe. Craft Cafe News, you guys, with your favorite host, Latoya Riggins, you guys. I am here with one of our partners, Miss Tiffany Wormerly of ADP. Now, if you have not heard of ADP, you must have been living under a rock because these guys have been around forever. They're in over 170 states or countries. Is it states or countries?
Countries.
Countries. Right. So they're everywhere. I want to bring Tiffany on because Tiffany, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. I'm glad to have
Good.
you
I'm
back
excited
because
to be here today again.
yeah, well, we have to do our check-ins. Now, this is something new I'm trying with the Craft Cafe News because it's a lot of things that come down the pike that we don't really get to talk about, and that my thing is, I do marketing. We as a company, we do business, but you guys at ADP, you guys are trained to be on the alerts. I believe that's probably one of the biggest flexes of having ADP on your side because you guys are gonna have the alerts. You guys are gonna know when things are changing, coming down the pike. So I know you guys send us newsletters as partners, kind of just keeping us in the loop. But I don't always get a chance to kind of talk about it. So
Right.
now that I have you here, let's talk about like what's new coming down for businesses that businesses need to know right now that they can actually
Yeah.
do something about.
Yep. So, um, what's going on right now actually is something that we're talking about a lot with our partners and clients, and potential clients. One thing is right now is the FLSA overtime rule change, that went into effect July 1st of this year. And like you said, one of the biggest things that we're here to do at ADP is make sure that our clients are in compliance, make sure that they're aware of any change that's going on from a federal and state level, and just making sure that our clients are in compliance and keeping them out of the waters of any penalties or anything like that. So that's the biggest thing. And we see that a lot with our small business clients. So, my focus is working strictly with small business clients. So a lot of my clients only have about 5 employees on payroll, but there's a lot of compliance updates that come with that, from a federal and state level. So what I'm going to talk about today is going to be that FLSA change that went into effect July 1st. So
Real
and
recent,
really
July
just
1st.
yeah, so it just went into effect last month. But it's a continuous update. It actually there was a recent change of this, and now there's another change where the salary threshold has gone higher for exempt employees who are subject to overtime pay. So I'm going to share my screen so that everyone can get a visual of the information and have it. And then I'll talk through it with you in ways that we help or the ways that we're supporting clients through this and navigating through this change. So let me just share this with you. Let me
How do
know when you
business
can.
owners find out about this stuff if they don't have a company like ADP giving them alerts? Does the nation tell you? Do you get a
I
any
mean,
business owner tap on
I
the
mean,
shoulder?
no, I mean, if you don't really have an engine supporting on the back end, um, you really don't know unless you just probably hear about it maybe from an accountant who may know about it or a peer. But if you don't have some type of system supporting you in place, then there's really no way of really knowing that. I'm sure they probably try to send out emails and stuff like that. But again, a small business owner, they're wearing multiple hats, right? So a lot of the
Right.
times they're not really focusing on this. They're just focusing on, hey, how can I grow my business? How can I get money?
Yeah.
They're not really looking out for, oh, did the FLSA put an update in here? Oh, am I in compliance with my employees? Or, so it's really not top of mind for business owners unless they have a company like ADP supporting them on the back end and making sure like they're aware of what's coming up. And what I love about ADP is that, on our Run portal, it's called Run, but on our portal where our clients run their payroll, on the home page is actually a section that is strictly for compliance updates, federal and state level. So like when they log in, they would see these updates as soon as they log in, like any changes from a federal and state level. any compliance updates. So that's how we communicate it to our clients. So it's kind of like if you don't have it, then there's really no way of knowing of these updates, but they affect you.
Wow.
Um,
Well, I'm glad
yes,
you're here with this, Tiffany, because we need to know this. Now,
yeah.
I see some figures on here.
hmm
Let me
And
just let you explain it because I'm like,
yeah, I'll talk through it here. So basically what this is that the FLSA the FLSA overtime rule change, it's now in effect July 1st. And the key points that's really important here are that the salary thresholds for annual compensation requirements have increased. So I'll talk through it, but there's no changes to the salary basis test provisions. And employers can still satisfy the salary requirements partly by paying bonuses, incentives, and commissions. So, what are these salary requirements? So, in my first bullet point here, the salary threshold for certain exempt employees increased from $648 per week to $844 per week. So basically, if an exempt employee is not making $844 per week now, then they will be subject to overtime pay if they worked overtime. Okay.
okay,
So think exempt, you think salaried employees. Non-exempt are usually your hourly employees who get lunch breaks, who get, those certain breaks in place. So your exempt employees think like you're a salaried employee. So if you have like an admin or if you have an office manager, or in your case, in your industry, if you have their employees who do get paid salary, you have to keep that in mind that the threshold has increased to $844 per week. So if they're making less than that, then well, they're subject to overtime if they are working overtime, right? So how can ADP help? Where do we come in? The biggest thing that we're having our clients do with their employees is really just review their worker classifications, and understanding who would be impacted and how many hours are they currently working per week, those exempt employees, right? So that's where we are encouraging our clients to set up time tracking. Okay. So, yes, we do payroll, but we do more than payroll. So, we have time tracking capabilities to offer our clients for their employees to be able to clock in and clock out or foresee hours worked. Um, so, basically, the solutions that can help employers with this is to track the hours and calculate regular and overtime hours worked. And then our timekeeping system can also forecast overtime based on the employee's hours worked and then their future scheduled hours, right? So the business owner can be ahead of the game. And then also we can provide different tools for the employer to manage their employee schedules and overtime to minimize, any impact or anything like that, or any, unnecessary expenses, right? So that's the biggest ways ADP can help is just really by helping with their efficiency and making sure like the way they're tracking this is accurate, and to really just help manage any overtime foreseeable ways, right?
mm-hmm.
Um, and then we're also sharing with our clients ways they can prepare for this. So if employers say, oh my gosh, I do have exempt employees who are paid below this new threshold, right? Here's what they can do to consider like when assessing the potential impact of this rule on their exempt employees. So they could one reclassify their employees. Maybe we need to change them to not, huh?
What does that mean?
So
Reclassify.
reclassify meaning like, okay, maybe we need to make them a non-exempt employee, and make so basically they're non-exempt, so now they get paid hourly, right?
Okay.
Instead of a set salary amount. So that's really the biggest one with reclassifying an employee, so that you can pay it to be able to track better the overtime. They could increase the salary. So if they do see like this exempt employee is salary and they do work more than maybe 40 hours a week consistently, well, to avoid the overtime, which is like time and a half, um, they can just increase their salary to that 844 threshold, okay,
That's the
per
plan.
week. And then the another way, the last way of the top three is to hire additional employees. So if you're noticing like your exempt employees are doing a lot of overtime, well, maybe we need to add more employees so that we can spread across the
Yeah,
hours, right?
okay, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah. So that's how we're helping our clients prepare for that and helping them assess like what where they're currently at and saying, okay, what does it look like historically, and how can we help with that? And that's really why we have these meetings with you and have these conversations with our partners, such as Craft Cafe, because this is how we're able to get the information out there to your members.
Perfect. Now,
Yep. So
what
that's
I want,
really it. I know it's a lot of information in here, but it's very important. And like I said, if there's anybody in your member base that feels like maybe they can be affected by this, then we can have a more in-depth conversation and go through a demo and really see what it looks like. But this is really what's top of mind right now. If you see here too, the Department of Labor estimates that as many as 4 million workers may need to be reclassified as a result of this FLSA rule change. So it's really affecting a lot of people. And then over $130 million in back wages were paid for FLSA overtime violations in 2023. So this is something that's constantly changing, because if you see my last bullet here, the rates are scheduled to increase again on January 1st, 2025, and
what?
subject to automatic increases every 3 years, beginning July 1st, 2027. So this is affecting a lot of businesses, and it's important to get out there.
Wow, thank you,
Yeah.
Tiffany. This was super informative. And I know we don't have a lot of time today, but I want to just give everybody an opportunity to connect with Tiffany because this is super huge. I'm so thankful for you, Tiffany, for making sure that we stay up to date with that so we can get this information out to our members because I don't understand how you find out about it otherwise. How are
Right.
people really finding out? And then we need to know what happens if you don't, because we don't want to get caught in that penalty area or anything else,
Right.
or like you said, end up really just paying, overpaying and losing
Yeah. And you
employees.
find a lot of times the penalties around it, like small businesses might try to say, no, I'm gonna just do my payroll in house, or I'm just gonna just do it myself to save money. But really, the penalties that are assessed are far more than the expense of having a notable company that knows what they're doing do your payroll.
Right. And your
So you're
employees
really
will
saving
thank
money in the
you.
long run, um, because there's fines and penalties attached to this. So one thing I always say don't mess with is the payroll taxes and payroll and all of that comes along with it. Like, take that burden off of you and ease of mind that someone is handling it for you.
Wonderful. Oh, wow. Well, thank you, Tiffany. I'm going to share my
Of
screen and
course.
just share the QR
Okay.
code for everyone to actually sign up for a demo with Tiffany.
Yeah.
Okay, let's
Yep.
pull it up real quick. And you guys can, feel free to scan it and do what you need to do. And as you can see, our members, craft members, anybody can scan this code, but craft members, you guys are going to get that 20% off. So you want to make sure that you are scanning that code. It's going to ask you a couple of questions, but it's also going to queue you up for a one-on-one with Tiffany so she can go through your business and just figure out what are some ways that you can avoid this drop. Okay, and not just avoid it, but that you can actually prepare for it so you don't lose employees and you definitely don't lose money. Okay, so we want to make sure that we are capitalizing on all of that. So go ahead and scan the QR code right here and we'll be ready to go. All right, so I will see you at the next Craft Cafe. Tiffany, thank you so much for being here. I'm excited to see who we have coming through and who wants to really take control of their business, especially if you guys are hiring right now. You want to get
Yes.
on top of this and you want to have a payroll company in-house. You don't want to do it yourself. That is not how you keep your employees. They feel very secure when you have things under control and you have invested in your HR processes, guys. So without further
Yes.
ado, we're going to sign off. Make sure you visit the website for www.betterfutures craftdc.com. See you
And in
guys
addition,
there.
one more thing.
One more
In
thing.
addition to the 20%, for the month of August too, we do have up to 4 months free. So, for craft members. So I just wanted to put that in there as well. But yes, thank you for having
Wait, you
me.
have
This was
4 months
amazing.
to do what? Say that one more time.
Up to 4 months promotion, an up to 4 months free promotion. They can get up
Four
to four
months
months
free,
free.
y'all.
Yeah.
Okay, y'all got to get over there. Make sure you scan the code. All right. I'll see you there. Bye,
Thank you
everybody.
so much for having me.
Thank you for coming. Bye.